The laughter still echoes in my head, cruel, sharp, and utterly out of place. It was supposed to be a light-hearted evening, a dinner party, friends, food, and a few drinks. But that laughter, it changed everything. And the man we laughed at, my husband Ethan, walked out of that house a stranger to me. It started 2 weeks before that night. Ethan had been distant, quieter than usual. He wasn't cold, just withdrawn. I thought it was work stress. He managed an engineering team, often pulling late nights. He'd come home, kiss my forehead, ask about my day, and then drift off into his thoughts. At first I told myself it was normal. Marriages go through quiet phases. But deep down I knew there was more. He'd begun to look at me differently, like he was studying me, memorizing me, but also grieving something. Then came the dinner invitation. Our friends, mostly mine if I'm honest, were hosting a small get-together. Ethan wasn't thrilled about going, but I insisted. "You need a break," I told him. "Come laugh a little. You've been so tense lately." He gave a small, unreadable smile. "Sure, Anna. Let's laugh a little." I didn't realize how much weight that line carried. The night of the party, everything seemed normal enough. I wore a navy blue dress that I knew he liked, though he didn't say anything about it. The house was full of chatter, people drinking wine, swapping stories, laughter bubbling through the air. Ethan was polite but reserved. He stuck close to me, quietly observing everyone. My friends, on the other hand, adored teasing him, calling him Mr. Serious, joking about how he barely smiled. And then Jason, the man I'd made the biggest mistake with, walked in. My pulse skipped. He wasn't supposed to come. Jason was charming, funny, the kind of man who knew how to make a woman feel seen. A few months back, I'd fallen into something with him. Something I told myself was harmless. Just late-night texts, emotional venting, nothing physical. But Ethan would have called it what it was. Betrayal. And maybe that's why I hadn't told him Jason would be there. When Jason saw me, he grinned that familiar grin. "Anna, didn't expect you here tonight." "Yeah," I said, smiling too tightly. "You know, surprise attendance." Ethan turned to me, his expression unreadable. "You two know each other." I hesitated. "From work. He's on the marketing team." Jason chuckled. "More like her work therapist. She used to vent to me all the time about you, Ethan." The table laughed. My stomach dropped. I tried to play it off, laughing weakly. "Oh, Jason, stop. You're making it sound worse than it was." But Ethan's jaw tightened. "No, go on. What did she say?" Jason raised his glass, eyes glinting. "Nothing bad, man. Just that you're, the quiet type. Hard to read. Doesn't talk much about feelings. Classic husband stuff." Everyone chuckled again. Everyone but Ethan. As the evening went on, Jason kept the jokes coming. About how much Anna complained about her husband's long hours, or how she once said you'd rather fix a car than fix your marriage. Each jab hit harder than the last. I tried to stop him with awkward smiles and quick subject changes, but the alcohol had loosened his tongue. Finally, he said the line that destroyed everything. "Remember that night, Anna? You said if I wasn't taken, you might have made a move." The laughter that followed felt like a knife. Even I forced a nervous chuckle, trying to diffuse the tension, the kind of laugh you give when panic is clawing at your throat. But Ethan didn't move. Didn't blink. He looked at me with this eerie calm. The kind that only comes before something shatters. The silence that followed was suffocating. Ethan slowly set his glass down and said, voice low but clear enough for everyone to hear, "You know, Jason, the funny thing about jokes is they only work when everyone's in on them." Jason grinned uncertainly. "Hey man, relax. We're just messing around." Ethan's gaze didn't waver. "I'm relaxed. Just wondering if everyone here knows that I already knew about you too." My heart stopped. "Ethan." He turned to me, his voice steady but his eyes blazing. "Do you want to tell them or should I?" The room went dead silent. Wine glasses froze midair. Ethan, please. I started, my throat tightening. He leaned forward, his tone sharp enough to cut through the air. Tell them how you've been texting him every night. How you deleted messages, changed your passcode. How you laughed at me behind my back while I was working to keep this house running. Jason's face paled. Whoa, man. Ethan cut him off. And tell them, Anna, what you said about me last week. That you felt more understood in 10 minutes with him than 10 years with me. A murmur rippled through the room. Every pair of eyes was on us. I could feel my face burning. Part shame, part disbelief that he knew everything. Ethan stood, straightened his shirt, and looked around the room. His voice was calm, almost eerily so. Thank you all for the laughter tonight. It's good to finally see what I've been living with. He looked at me one last time. His words slicing through the silence like glass. You all can keep laughing. But from now on, she's no longer my punchline. And then he left. Just like that. No shouting. No tears. Just silence, the kind that swallows everything. The laughter died instantly. Jason stammered something about not meaning it, but no one responded. The room emptied quickly after that. I sat there frozen. My chest felt hollow, my skin cold. In that single sentence, Ethan had turned every ounce of laughter into shame. For the next few days I tried calling him. No answer. I went home, but his things were gone. Closet empty. Drawers cleared. He'd left the house keys on the counter with a note that said only 3 words. Don't look for me. Broke down. I told myself he was overreacting, that it wasn't an affair, that it was just talking. But the truth clawed its way through the denial. I'd betrayed his trust. I'd mocked his vulnerability in front of strangers. And the worst part, he hadn't yelled or insulted me. He just walked away with dignity, leaving me drowning in guilt. A month passed. Then 2. I learned through mutual friends that Ethan had moved to another city. New job, new apartment, new life. Apparently he looked healthier, lighter, free. Meanwhile, I couldn't escape the memory of that night. The way the laughter died. The way his eyes looked, not angry, just done. 6 months later I ran into him. It was at a cafe in the city where my sister lived. I'd gone there to clear my head, and he was just there, sitting by the window reading. He looked different, stronger somehow. His hair was shorter, his posture relaxed. I froze, unsure whether to approach. But when he looked up, our eyes met. And for a moment it was like the world stopped moving. He didn't look angry, just distant. I walked over slowly. Ethan. He nodded politely. Anna. I didn't expect to see you here, I said, my voice trembling. He smiled faintly. Life's funny that way. There was an awkward silence. I wanted to apologize, to pour out everything I'd rehearsed 100 times. I'm sorry, I said finally. For everything. For humiliating you. For. He raised a hand gently. You don't need to explain. I understand now. Understand what? He looked out the window for a moment, then back at me. That sometimes love isn't lost in one big fight. It's chipped away slowly, with every lie, every joke, every little bit of disrespect. By the time you realize it's gone, there's nothing left to save. Tears filled my eyes. I never wanted to lose you. He gave a small, sad smile. Then maybe you shouldn't have laughed. And just like before, he stood and walked away, quietly, gracefully, leaving me sitting there with my tears and my guilt. It's been over a year now. He's remarried, I heard. To someone kind. Someone who, I'm sure, never mocked him behind his back. As for me, I'm still haunted by that night. By the sound of laughter that turned into silence. If I close my eyes, I can still see him standing there. Calm, steady, and utterly broken. And I realize now. The cruelest part of betrayal isn't the act itself. It's watching someone who loved you enough to forgive finally stop trying. Because when Ethan said, she's no longer my punchline, what he really meant was, she's no longer my wife.